welcome to the Villa Times again, episode 5, and we're doing a bit of a top 5 special in this one. We're actually going to be focusing on Villa kits. You saw a couple of iconic ones in the intro there, but Ivan and I are going to go through our own favourites, and we'd really like to hear from you about what your favourite Villa kits are as well. It's not in any particular order, but we're going to have a bit of a run through what we like about Villa kits from the past and present.
Absolutely. Ironically, I haven't even got a kit on today, but
is that not?
No, not particularly. I'm not. I mean, I'm not a huge kit aficionado. Like, I'm always really in awe of people that collect, and I mean, Aston Villa shirts and Dave Hitchman is maybe the pinnacle example of that, and all the Max Warren stuff, and it's amazing, and I actually really wish Villa would kind of showcase that a little bit more. I mean, there's some nice stuff in the new club shop, isn't there, under the glass panels of certain kits, but I'm not a collector particularly, and I don't. Like, my son has all the kits for this season. I don't have any. So this was quite interesting for me, I think, to go back and look. And I think there's, before we start looking at the specific ones, it's quite interesting to kind of like what defines like a good kit, or why do we remember certain kits? And I think that for me, like, iconic kits often are aligned to periods of particular success, or winning something. So if you think about the Muller 93, 94, claret and blue kit that we obviously lifted the Coca-Cola Cup in, that is partly iconic because we lifted the Coca-Cola Cup in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think you have to be successful in a kit for it to be like an iconic kit?
I think it helps. I don't think it's the be all and end all. I think there are a couple of examples the opposite way where they definitely cemented my dislike. So, for example, when we've had not so popular sports brands like, Macron and Diadora as our kit manufacturers, I haven't really been a massive fan of all of the kits they produced. But also, there is probably a bit of brand snobbery coming from me, and also it happens to be that we didn't really have a great deal of success in them. But then there's other kits where we probably, we didn't end up with a trophy, but I like them more. So I think that's the thing.
It's maybe not definitive. You don't have to win.
No, it's been it's going to be 30 years at least before we've won a trophy again, and we've got to pick some kits that we liked. Yeah. So it's only relative success against little success that we're going to be comparing here. So
yeah, true. And it's worth saying, isn't it, that we've decided to only pick kits from an era of us watching Villa, haven't we? So
correct. Yeah.
Roughly 89, 90 as a starting point, I think. So
that's right. Yeah.
There are obviously lots of iconic kits before that.
Special mentions for me go to Lecoq Sportif, of course, around the European Cup era, and Umbro from when we won the championship and the league championship. And I would say, they were iconic kits in their own right, not just because we won trophies.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it would be the 87, 88, that away shirt that they won promotion from the second division under Graham Taylor in, like Alan McAnally and Gary Thompson, etc. But again, I never saw him playing that kit, so that was our cut off. So
yeah, it would have been on my list, just so you know. I was chatting to a Villa fan about this yesterday, who was wearing the one of a classic kit we'll talk about in a bit, and the 87, 88 Hummel kit came up, and it is regarded as an absolute classic in the football kit world. I understand. I think it features in a book of the top 100 football kits of all time. It was one that actually it was a bit of a grey area, because that's when I started getting into Villa, like the following season, and I was collecting quite a lot of bits and pieces, like memorabilia associated to Villa, like team pictures from that season and from the following season when we had that kit. So I could have almost counted it unfortunately, it doesn't count in our rules, but it definitely gets a
But
special.
an honourable mention. There we go. Right. Okay. So one of yours first.
Okay,
Phil.
let's go for it.
Tell us
So,
about this one.
well, there you go. We're sticking with Hummel, 89-90. I mean, that is one of the images that, for me, I remember the most about the era. It was the first season I went to go and watch Aston Villa. The first game I went to, bearing in mind we finished second in the league, we lost 3-0 at home to Wimbledon. So it was a great welcoming to being a Villa fan. I didn't put this Umbro one in from the following season on the list. It just missed out because I had to get a Hummel kit in there, and I just have really strong memories of this season. David Platt scoring loads of goals, 20 plus goals that season in the league. Tony Daly bombing down the wing as he's doing here. And also some great memories of Gordon Cowans in this kit as well, and Paul McGrath. And I could name others: Derek Mountfield, Kent Nielsen, Nigel Spink in the goalkeeper kit, even Ian Olney up front.
There we go.
There were
Yeah.
some great moments from that season.
It's a great image, that one, of and for our audio listeners, this is of Tony Daly in the 89-90 kit, and those the chevrons for Hummel, I think, are really iconic, and it's kind of almost looks like an image from a different age, though, doesn't it? Really, that is longer ago, and the fact that he's got his ties on his socks to keep his socks up and all this sort of thing. So that is a really
on the socks though, proper Villa badges on the socks, and you actually
and
look at it like,
again.
from a technology point of view, I don't think football kits have moved on that much. I mean, maybe they're like made out of lighter materials, but they've still got all the design elements to them. And the things that stand out for me though are it's a classic claret and blue Aston Villa kit. The sleeves, you've got the angle on the sleeves that go to the collar, which I think is like quite a classic Villa look. And then you've also got the round badge, which I absolutely loved and still love to this day. And then you've got the iconic sponsor on the front, Mitre Copiers, which I would put down as the elite Aston Villa sponsor. If you ever want to remember one sponsor from Aston Villa, it's Mitre Copiers.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Well, we'll stay on a Mitre Copiers trend then with one of mine, which so the 92-93 Premier League kit, modelled in this image by Dean Saunders,
with the laces.
With the laces, yeah, which I think it was. There were a few teams that had them, weren't there? But it was just a very. I don't think it sort of lasted much beyond this season for any teams with those laces, but it was seen as being kind of a nod to the past, wasn't it? But with the new Premier League, and I think that the reason the image that I've got there is obviously from a match day program, and I think that this kit. I mean, it was a great season, wasn't it? It was a great season, although ultimately disappointing that we didn't push United a little bit harder for the title. But it was a great season. So many iconic moments, so many great games, and I just think this kit represented for me like the very the beginning of a bit of a new era for Villa and I guess football in general. And I always thought the colours, that the programme of that era, which always just really drew out the claret really well. And I mean, I was really struggling to pick which one to put up on screen because there's some great ones of people like Steve Froggatt and Darius Kabici in this kit as well. Slightly kind of baggy look from Umbro. The badge, I love the badge kind of within the shield, if you like, and of course then the laces. And obviously we didn't win anything in this kit, but we won a lot of games in this kit, I guess. So I think that's
some fantastic games as well. I never wanted to own that kit because I basically didn't think I could pull it off wearing the lace collar. But I saw someone wearing it yesterday, and it didn't like shock me that someone was wearing it. It does look like just a football kit that someone might wear to a match. It actually, although when you describe it as it's got a lace collar and it's basically resembling the 1920s, you do kind of think to yourself, really, would you want to wear that in 2025? But no, it does still work. And
people clearly do, don't they? And I think it's like saying, I think it is partly because it's a little bit unique, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that just reminds me completely of Dino and Dalian, the deadly duo, as they were called at the time. Yeah. And special mention, the best goal ever, Damian Atkinson's goal of the decade, his match of the day, goal of the season against Wimbledon with the man holding the umbrella.
In the pouring
Just,
rain, yeah.
yeah, that is just what that kit's all about.
So,
okay,
another Mitre copiers. You
we're
can
on the
tell.
Mitre
You can
Copiers
tell
run.
what era we're from, can't you?
Yeah,
Look,
the reason why I didn't pick this one is because of this one. I don't know what it is, but
so this one being the home kit from
91 to 90,
91,
the away
97.
kit from 91 to 93.
Yeah.
I've picked the away kit from 91 to 93. Sorry, listeners. Instead of going for the home shirt from 91 to 93 and 91 to 92, 90 to 92. Sorry, this is 90 to 93 away instead of the 90 to 92 home. The reason why, I just love the color combination: white shirt, blue and black flashes on the arms. And it just reminds me of a great era of being a Villa fan. It reminds me of David Platt. It reminds me of Steve Staunton's absolute belter of a goal at Man United.
Old
I think
Trafford,
it was
yeah. This
1991.
picture is
No,
from.
that was 92, 93, because we had that away kit for 3 years.
Yeah.
It was just an iconic kit. And I also remember at the time I was into my Sabutio, and this is where my memory has gone, Ivan, right? I remember having a Villa away team in Sabutio, white and black with the blue. And I can't remember whether I made it myself or whether I bought it from a shop. But I've tried to track down a real version of it, and you can't find it.
Maybe you did make it then. Yeah, that's it. It was. Yeah, it's a great
Yeah.
kit. They wore it away into Milan as well. Not in the first under Taylor, I'm sure. And they wore blue shorts with it because
Yes.
Inter Milan had black shorts, and that's quite a strange combination. But
I
yeah,
also remember-
another really good one.
And it's bringing back memories, really. I mean, like I like it aesthetically, but also it's just memories of being a young Villa fan. Even bad memories, like the fact when we got beaten 5-0 at Arsenal, and it was on ITV, and I remember watching it at home. We were wearing that kit. It just
we
gives me a bit of nostalgic buzz.
Who ended up in goal at the end of that game?
Was that David Platt in goal at the end?
Yeah.
He could do everything, couldn't he, at the time? Yeah.
I think he went in at 4-0, so maybe he only conceded one. But he had to wear the Arsenal goalkeeper's top. I always remember that. We should have had a picture of that. That would have been a good kit.
Why did he have to wear the Arsenal goalkeeper's
top?
top?
I don't know. He was talking. He was talking about this. He was recently on the official Aston Villa podcast, wasn't he? And he was talking about this. There was some reason whether they didn't have another. Yeah, there was some reason. So check out the official Villa podcast.
Yeah.
And that
if anyone knows, get in touch. Let us know. It'd be good to find out. So there we go. We've had a hat trick of Mitre copiers kits there.
So let's change tack slightly. So move a little bit further forward. So this is one of my choices. Oh, what a goalkeeper's kit that is! What a goalkeeper's kit! And of course, it wasn't exclusive to us, was it? So I think a number of teams.
For our listeners.
Sorry.
Just describe it for our listeners.
Yeah. So this is the Asics 93-94 goalkeeping kit. So that jazzy, multicoloured effort, most probably famously worn by Mark Bosnich when we won the 94 Coca-Cola Cup. Not exclusive to us, so other teams who Asics manufacture their kit, so Blackburn, Newcastle, they also have this goalkeeper's kit. It's to me, it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful, and you see all the, there's lots of people who've made kind of, as part of their business models, made like hats based on this pattern and socks and all this sort of thing. Yeah. It is just such a cool, and it will forever for me be Mark Bosnich's kit. I mean, although other goalkeepers did wear it, and for Villa, Nigel Spink, principally, but this was 93-94 was of course the season that Bosnich exploded, into our consciousness.
Against Tranmere, never forget that.
Yeah, penalty shootout against Tranmere, and obviously the final. Just an absolute brilliant one. And I think that goalkeepers' kits now are a little bit formulaic. in my opinion. And I just think this was something quite different. And actually, the change goalkeeper kits were also pretty out there. You know, there was a blue one on a similar sort of pattern to this, and a yellow one, and then like a green and orange one as well.
Kind of glass prism effect, classic. And I've got to do a shout out to the Bromsgrove Lions, because I know they've had some shirts made that reflect.
Yeah, absolutely, they did. Yeah,
and it's just great seeing that as a bit of a memory when you're at Villa Park and you see them wearing their top. So shout out to you guys, and thanks for the thanks for the bus ride to Wembley last week. They always put on a good trip.
So that's Bozzy in that goalkeeper's kit. So
I'd agree the top goalkeeper's kit of all time. I can agree with you on that one, definitely.
Okay. Stanley Victor.
Yeah, so this one, I think this is probably because it brings back like the optimism of the time. It was a bit more
97, 98, right?
Yeah, 97, 98 away kit. If anyone listening, it's the light blue one, which then has like the white and claret stripe and then the claret on the bottom part. And I remember just being really excited when we released this kit. And I don't know whether it was because of Collymore or whether I liked the kit itself. But it is just an absolute classic. And obviously they sell like a modern version of it in like a remake version of it in the club shop. So it obviously has stuck with other Villa fans. But this just was like one of those where you feel like we've been given a special kit to wear for the new season. We've got a new striker coming in. And if you haven't listened to it, there's an episode that we've done on this very season, 97 to 98, which you can listen to. And I just think, for me, it's one of the ones where in my shirt collection, which I got rid of a load of old Villa shirts, I wish I'd kept.
I remember you had this. Did you have a name on the back?
No, I didn't get a name on the back on this one.
No, it's okay. I was interested to. Yeah,
I don't know why. I should have got more names. I should have gone for Collymore 11, but I didn't.
Grayson 26, whatever it was.
Yeah, but no, it's a great kit. The AST sponsor, another of my favourite Villa sponsors, even though I've never owned an AST computer. But and
in fact, that kit replaced as our away kit my Next Choice, which was also an AST sponsor. So the sort of dark navy blue away kit that we wore primarily in 95, 96. So it featured in our Coca-Cola Cup run. Obviously, we wore the home kit in the final against Leeds, but the blue kit was worn in the semi against Arsenal, which the picture which we can see now is Andy Townsend, captain that season, wearing really dark blue, which I love actually, and I think it obviously we currently have a dark blue third kit, don't we? Which is we'll have some forever hold some great Champions League memories. So, but this one I think it was a bit different. I loved the lettering on the back as well, the players' names, and it was white with like a red trim, like really chunky letters.
Yeah, very block, kind of like wasn't it? But I completely agree. That was like the proper squad number style.
And I think it just that semi-final against Arsenal. So we played the first leg at Highbury and drew 2-2 in this kit. Dwight York scored 2 goals. Weirdly, my real memory is actually around a long forgotten contributor to Villa's 95-96 season, Franz Carr, who I think we've probably mentioned on this podcast before, who, when we were wearing his kit, scored the only goal in an FA Cup quarter-final against Nottingham Forest at the City Ground. His only Villa goal, but a really important one. We won the game 1-0 and obviously got to the semi-final. So I really remember it for that. And also Savo Milosevic, who again is a name that we have mentioned several times on previous episodes. I remember he scored a great goal at West Ham in this kit. It's a really love it. Love the blue. I think it would probably be up there with, if I was going to get a kind of remake retro shirt, it would be this.
There are some Villa fans who say Villa are not allowed to wear blue because of Birmingham City, but I think this and the current third kit are examples of where you can pull off blue as a Villa top.
Yeah, and we had another one, didn't we, recently? Like a kazoo. Was it a Kappa one or a Castore?
Yeah, it's a Kappa one.
Like
Yeah,
dark blue. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, and it's not, to me. It's not a Birmingham City blue, is it? That it's too dark. So
yeah. They can't have all blue. They can't claim all of it. I mean, we've got blue on our kit, so I think navy's fine.
So one for you then, Phil.
Ah, right. Okay. So this one. So yeah, shout out to the manufacturer of this, the Luke Sport kit. Met Luke myself when I was working in radio, and did an interview with him about this kit actually, because he happens to be from my neck of the woods, and it was local radio, and we talked about the fact that he'd got the gig to make this kit. But this is from the 2018-19 season when we won promotion back to the Premier League, and I just absolutely love this kit for that reason. It was the one that we wore to get back up. I also think if you're going to make a kit that's iconic Villa, you can't always go claret with blue sleeves. Now and again, you might want to just reflect kind of moments of the past, and the blue down the inside on the side of the kit just reminds me of the early 80s, and that particularly the one from around 85, that Lecoq Sportif kit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I just love it. I love the stripes on it. I love the detail. It was to remember 130 years. Was it? No, it was. Yeah, was it to remember 130 years of the Football League? I think.
Yeah, because it had a little William McGregor on the back.
That's right, and I just think the level of detail, to get a local man and his business making this kit, he pulled it off brilliantly and took on the big boys really well. So love it.
It was phenomenal, wasn't it? Actually, and I think it's again, we'll come to another example of maybe Villa pushing the boundaries of kits, or certainly sponsorship in a minute, but I think it was kind of quite a unique approach, and I think actually it was a really important part. I mean, obviously the picture that our video viewers will see, has got Jack Grealish, Dean Smith. I think that part of the restoration, I suppose, of Villa's self-image with fans and those two, both Jack and Dean, but also the kit and the way that Villa had let Luke Roper kind of design that and market it and put it out there, I think was all part of that growing consciousness that we in some ways see results of now. I think actually for me, I probably, if I had to pick though, I'd probably pick the third kit from that season, which was that's
quite jazzy. Another navy one, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of navy, purple, pink. And I mean, again, they wore it in that when Jack scored that wonderful goal at Rotherham away when Mings had been sent off. That was the moment I thought, we're going to get promoted.
What I'll say about this home kit though is the real memory that stands out. Of course, it is not the playoff final. It's the Birmingham City game where Jack goes and gets punched in the head and then goes and scores the winner. I mean, that is an iconic Villa moment that will stand the test of time.
Absolutely. So yeah, it was a unique way to manufacture a kit, and I mean the image that we've just popped up here is of the 2009-2010 Nike away kit, which bore the sponsor of Acorns, which again was quite a unique thing that Randy Lerner did by supporting a local charity as our main front of shirt sponsor. So the picture we've got here is of I used to love these three: James Milner, Ashley Young, and Gabby. I think this image actually is from a marketing campaign that came before the kit. But yeah, like a fantastic white away kit. Unfortunately, we wore it in the 2010 League Cup final, didn't we?
Yeah, but we all accept that we won that trophy, but it was given to Man United.
Yeah, but it should have gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, some really iconic players. I mean, my chief memory of this kit is actually beating Liverpool at Anfield at the start of that season. So in 2009, 2010, Ashley Young, one of the players on the screen, scored in that game. But yeah, I just loved that era. I mean, I lived in Manchester at the time, so I mainly watched Villa away when it was a little bit easier to get away tickets, and there was a lot of games in the northwest. So Wigan, Bolton, United, City, Liverpool, Everton. So mainly saw them away. So saw them quite a lot in this kit, and that team, not just the three on screen, but the likes of even Nigel Reo-Coker, Curtis Davies. It was just a great side under O'Neill, and again a nice era. But yeah, what a fab kit. And the home kit obviously was really good as well. With
yeah. I really like the home kit from the previous season with like the V-neck collar. That was one that just missed out on my list. It would have been on my top 5 home kits. But again, the thing that really makes it, I mean, a big brand like Nike, they're always going to make you good, solid kits. But also as well the Acorn sponsorship, and it's been really nice to see this season that we've ended up with Acorns back on the shirt for certain European games, because that is one hell of a charity to support, and it just pulls on the heartstrings as a Villa fan when we're promoting that charity. And the other thing is, I'd just like to give a shout out, because this was our second white Nike kit. I really like the white one with the light blue pinstripes, which was when we first launched our Nike kits. So that was another one from 07, 08. I really like that. But I'm glad you chose a Nike white away kit, and I'm happy with this one.
Yeah. Excellent.
Right. We're in harmony. There's no controversy here.
Well, you can tell we're the same age and grew up watching Villa together, can't you? Because we're very much on the same page.
You mentioned away wins at Liverpool, by the way. I've got to just do a shout out for a kit that I would never own.
The lime green one.
Well, 2 actually. Yeah, the lime green Macron one when we won at Liverpool, and also the silver NTL. Anfield that day, and that was just a brilliant day out. And that kit just stands out. I would never wear it. I think aesthetically it's awful. But back a brilliant memory.
Score Draw aren't about to bang out some retro versions of either of those, are they?
I hope not.
Right, we've got one more each. So this is your last one, Phil, which is very current.
Very current, right. So I just think throughout my supporting life, I've always wanted Villa to have an Adidas kit. I just think, Adidas have made some iconic kits for so many clubs. And finally, we've reached that goal. And I think they've made a good, solid home kit for this season. And it's one that I think will stand the test of time. And okay, we're not going to win a trophy with it, but I'll have some brilliant memories from this season. And I picked this particular player that we're showing on screen because I think this is the season that we'll remember him for the most, and that is Yuri Tielemans. And of course, I'm talking about this just after he's gone and while we're recording, just after he's gone and actually scored the winner against Fulham. So it's quite good timing, really. But I love this kit. I love the fact we've won it in the Champions League. We've had some great memories with it. We beat Man City at home. We beat Bayern Munich. We beat PSG. Sadly, went out in the Champions League. But it's a kit that I'll remember for years to come. And I'm glad I own one. I own one of them, and I've got John McGinn's 7 on the back. So I'm pleased with that, and the Champions League badge.
Yeah, I don't own one. My son does. He's got PAL 14 on the back. So there you go.
That one, let's leave that, because there's a bit of controversy at the moment on X. I've seen quite a few comments. So yeah,
we'll gloss over that. But yeah, no, it is an iconic kit, and I think the whole way that it was kind of unveiled, and the Adidas branding on the old stumps building.
Oh yeah, the Aussie video was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So I think it's a really, really great choice. I'd be really interested to see whether next season is a bit less template-ish with Adidas, and I guess it all depends on our ranking within their structure of kind of how much that
It's worth just pointing out, because I think we did the Adidas deal a bit late, and compared to like how long it normally takes to make and design a new kit. But I think Adidas have done a really good job based on the fact that they would normally have more time. And if that is a template kit, that leaves me with excitement of what's to come, because that is a really solid, like 8, 9 out of 10 template kit.
Yeah. Right. So this is my last one, modelled here by Benito Carbone, from the 99-2000 season, when of course we reached the FA Cup final, largely in debt to Carbone's goals throughout that campaign, or the FA Cup campaign at least. So those kind of really thick claret and blue stripes are a bit of a nod to some of the kits of yesteryear again, in terms of the claret and blue stripes. This one for me is not, probably at the time, was not massively on my radar as a kit that I liked. But I wanted to include it as my 5, because probably it's this season that it has become something that I've maybe sort of, in hindsight, valued a little bit more. And I think it was partly down to seeing lots of them at Wembley, 2 weeks ago, and actually fans kind of reconnecting a little bit with that era. And again, it is helped because the Villa store has started stocking a retro version of this. Like, it's a bit of an odd sponsor, isn't it, LDV Vans? But I do like what I like is that thick claret stripe in the middle, the Reebok, our badge, and the sponsor. I just think it just looks really clean. It looks really cool, which I guess is why it's maybe kind of had a bit of a renaissance. And I think the links to FA Cup kind of iconography has helped this season. Well, do you like it, or is this the one we're going to disagree on?
I didn't dislike it. I never owned it. I owned the away one, which was the one with the diagonal claret and blue stripes on it, and I really, that would have been in my top 5 away kits. I think that is a brilliant away kit. I had a long sleeve version of it, which nice. I don't know. Again, why did I get rid of it? I don't know, because I probably would have some good classics, which I could either keep or make some money on eBay with. So woe is me. I think they went to the charity shop. But I think this kit, the only thing I'd say about people wearing it a couple of weeks ago is I hope you didn't curse us at Wembley, because obviously the one thing that stands out, although we went on a great cup run, I always remember the abject disappointment of that FA Cup final. And ironically, it was another game at Wembley where we didn't turn up. If you think about the memories, it brings back memories of 2 specific players for me, Dion Dublin and Benito Carbone. And it was good until the final showpiece day of that season, when it came to the FA Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. That's our 5 each. If you had to pick one of your 5, Phil, what are you going for?
If I could pick any kit, Villa kit, I'd go 87 to 89. I think that is an absolute iconic masterpiece of a football kit.
What, the away?
No, the home one. The half and half with the stripe that we talked about. Out of my list, I would probably go. I think I'd probably go the 90 to 93 away. The white.
Okay. Interesting. I think mine might be the white. Mine might be not that white one, but the Acorns white from 2009, 2010. Funny, isn't it? That we both.
But I'm thinking
they're hard, isn't it? And we deliberately haven't ranked them particularly, have we? Because and there are so many kits, obviously, and so many. Even our conversation today has made us think about other kits that we hadn't considered and things like that, hasn't it? So. Yeah,
what I'll say is, I've always kind of thought Villa have been a bit, just thinking about it without going through the list, I was thinking Villa probably could have done better in quite a few seasons with the kit manufacturer and the design. And now we've been through the list, I've realised actually we've had some really good kits. So it's not all bad.
Not all bad. And we shall await what next season brings.
We shall. So if anyone wants to get in touch, share your thoughts on our lists, and share with us, what your favourite kits are. Please let us know. Talking about football kits, I could talk about it all day long. It's just something I've always enjoyed talking about. And we will be back with another episode very soon. If you've got any suggestions for what you might want us to focus on from over the last 30 years, get in touch and send us your suggestions. We're always happy to pick on things that you might be interested in hearing about.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.